exclusive. If you anybody else, that's cool. But know this, it's a Jeezy Miyake exclusive.
What it do? It's your boy Jeezy Miyake back with another one. And on this one, you got Wack 100 brings his pops to the stage. And his pops, said a lot in this video right here. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, his pops was cool. Honestly, it was the first time that I had Captain Tazariak where I knew something that he didn't. When the pops had said, "Do y'all know what the strange fruit is?" I'm in the audience like, "Yeah, I know what strange fruit is." And if y'all don't know what the strange fruit is, um, it's basically black people hanging on trees. And so I'm gonna put that link in the audio. This was the original video. The lady Billie Holiday. You remember Beyonce played her in a movie. Um like I said, yeah, man, so this was a great interview. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta keep it real. Wack Pops was cool. He seemed like he was just 1,000. So I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all hit that like, comment, subscribe. This your boy Jeezy Miyake. And yeah.
Quarter pound of cocaine, quarter pound of cocaine. It was all powdered then. They brought that to me and to sell the secret. I market that. Of course, I've been in the neighborhood since I was 4 years old. My partner was in this out of the sandbox, so it wasn't nothing to put it out there, and so that's how I got into that. It was innocent.
It sounded like
It
you got in a
was
jam up. It sounded like you got in a debt, and in order to get out the debt, you had to sell the cocaine. That's what you're saying.
no, no, no. I
Jeezy Miyake.
I
Hit
did
that
get
like,
into
comment,
debt.
subscribe.
I did get into debt, but it wasn't no hardcore. It wasn't no hardcore debt.
Hmm.
Wasn't no hardcore debt. But I could have got out of debt. Uh, keep selling weed, but but there's nothing. It wasn't nothing for me to set up something
So,
to set up. I got partners that I've been in the sandbox with. Send them out.
at this time, no,
I
you hadn't
I
used it
secured the
yourself.
debt. The debt wasn't. I wasn't in trouble behind the debt. As a matter of fact, when I got into that, to when I got into debt, they was trying to give us 10 years in Angola. That my amigo, my friend said, Robert, if you have to go and spend the years down in the Yale in Louisiana, he said, me making sure that your wife and your children and your two sons, I only had two sons at the time, that they taken care of before. So we was good friends.
And so, but at
We
this
was good
time, you
friends.
hadn't. But at this
Yeah,
time,
yeah. So I wasn't pressured into nothing.
okay. And at this time, you hadn't become a user. You was just a seller. So, what transitioned into like using it yourself
Let's see. What transitioned me into what?
from graduating from marijuana to actually using cocaine?
After so many years, um, I really didn't know at the time. I always kind of tell people we kind of pioneered that rock, that so-called freebase stuff,
Hmm.
because we really didn't know the reaction of, or where it would take
Right,
us.
right.
because it seemed innocent enough, and since we was running and ripping all night long, we kind of fell under the influence of it. Uh, you know, to, to stay awake. I guess like somebody that's a coffee fiend or uh, 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 what black mollies and whites and stuff that would keep you up, and so being around those people, being around like that, and doing what you're doing eventually, because when I started, you couldn't get me to wet the tip of my fingers, and put a little on my tongue. So either it was good or it wasn't good. If the people said, "Do you have something better?" I tell my amigo, "Hey, my amigo say needed more better." They take that back. They take it back and bring me something more better. So um,
Okay, and so not to dwell on that too much, but like when you started using, how did that affect like the family with your sons, with your wife? Because Wack
when
always
I
talks
started
about,
using,
yeah, like once you started using and getting heavy into it, I can only imagine. Well, I guess a combination. If you can answer both questions, like during the hustle, because you mentioned how they wanted you to do jail in South America. So how did all of that affect like your family? Like how was your family dealing with that?
well, after a while, after a while, when you begin to drop and you start losing. Of course, one of the things you're gonna lose your position. You're gonna lose your
You
position. You're
mean
gonna lose your
position with the
position.
family? You mean position with the family?
Yeah, well, at home
Right.
you're gonna lose your position and everything because you you caught up.
Right. And so that's how you
So,
felt.
yeah,
You felt like you was caught up, right?
you caught up.
And was it
But
like what was there like a breaking point? Because I know you've been clean for like 20 something years. So what was the breaking point that made
I've
you
been clean now for 28 years.
that's perfect. So what was the breaking point? Like what was the low point you got to that said, okay, this is enough? Like what was that point?
Well, I believe that my low. I believe the breaking point. The breaking point is what I had in me from the beginning, and I had to fight to get back. I was constantly like a back and forth to church, trying to
Miyaki, hit that
Like
like,
rehab
comment,
and
and
get myself,
subscribe.
trying to get myself back to what I knew. I knew the other side. I'm not like a person that never knew the other side of life. I knew that other side of life, but it was the addiction. The addiction tries to hold you.
yeah, and that's why I keep asking you the question because I'm pretty sure before that breaking point where you stopped 28 years ago, were there times where you tried to stop before using the same method, like using the church? Was there times before you explain the difference? Why
Well,
it happened when it did?
well, uh, trying to stop and stopping is two different things. First of all, you have to follow the directions. I, I kept going back and forth to a little penitentiary. I kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, of course, you know it or not, penitentiaries, jailhouses is really nothing but an adult timeout. And so either you're going to take that time out and catch yourself and put yourself back in place and take charge of you once again. I had to take charge of me once again. So once I was able to see my last day, I took charge when I got charge of myself. I thought about, shoot, I thought about, I'd lost the respect of my sons, which is something that since I was five I always wanted. But that's another story that was
Now,
breathed into
no,
me.
but you know what? That you know what's interesting. You say that you said since you was five, that's what you was always wanted. So it begs me to
Yeah,
ask the question: when you say that's something you always wanted, was it that you had your father, or you didn't have
yeah,
your father? Okay, so you had your father. So seeing your
yeah,
father at five, that
yeah.
made you always want to be there.
Yeah, my mom and daddy was with each other until the day daddy died. He died
Hmm.
a little young, but he was 62 when he passed away from cancer. But uh, uh, but see, my father. See, when I say since I was five, right? So ever
Hmm.
since I was from the time that I was born, my father was the only male that had a son. It was just me. And so
Hmm.
all my aunts and uncles used to always look me in the face and say, it was up to me to keep this Jones name going. Keep
Hey,
this
I was
name
thinking the
going. Keep
same
it.
thing. So you kept the Jones alive, so to speak.
Well, I give you.
Hmm.
But here again, the Bible says what? Train a child the way it should go
In the
when
way it
it's
should
young,
go.
and he won't depart. Now, all these customs and Christmas, Christmas and Easter's and all this old phony stuff that they didn't made up and claim is Christ for Christ and stuff like that. Uh, I cut that out a long time ago.
That's excellent.
We
One
we
last
we
question, if I could, sir, because I know
go
there's a
ahead.
Easy
lot of people
Miyaki.
want to
Hit
ask
that
you
like,
questions, right?
comment,
So just one last
subscribe.
question, but not
Go ahead.
well before the other people come in, right? As you being familiar with the Bible and talking about the Bible, where do you
Right.
see black people as regards to the Bible? Do you see them being the children of the Bible? Where do you see black people's place within the biblical text?
Well, if it's explained and taught right, if it's explained and taught right, the situation, and even with the region of where the Bible stories come is us, and the
Mm,
situation, and the situation is us.
mm,
The bondage,
right.
the being set free. All of that is us. We should understand. We should understand it, but a lot of the so-called preachers and stuff is not teaching to come out
Mm,
and the way that it should be taught to come out. Uh, you cannot teach. You cannot teach faith. You cannot teach faith without action. See,
absolutely.
people teach faith and have you waiting on it. But they're not telling you faith without works or
Works
faith
is
without
dead.
action is void. It ain't no good.
Correct. I
Faith,
appreciate you answering that.
yeah,
I'm sorry, sir.
faith is
I
the
didn't mean to interrupt.
machine. Faith is the machine that motivates and roll you into your destiny.
Hmm.
I
Thank you,
hope
sir. I
I answered.
appreciate you, and I know there's other people that want to ask questions, as Wax said. But you know, we definitely know how to run the 100 floor. So if there's anybody that want to ask I'm just gonna be Wax Pop a question. The floor is now open to go ahead and ask him a question.
Go ahead, Danny. You can run the floor. You and Phoenix. Any of
Uh,
y'all got questions for my pops? Come off the mic.
I
I
have
got a
okay. I
question.
have a
I have one
question.
too.
I
All
have
right, go
one.
ahead.
I want to know what's the worst thing Wack done when he was a kid.
The worst thing, the worst thing that he did from what age? From
uh, I would say from like when
Oh
I met
my.
him at the Boys and Girls Club, like 9, 10 years old, around that age.
okay, yeah, yeah, okay. Well, when you met him, see, when you met him back then, uh, he was hanging out in them now, so ain't no telling what he'd do.
It's the projects. This guy was already the projects.
Shoot, ain't no telling what he'd do. And by that time, shoot, and by that time, a lot of my guidance was void because I wasn't there to guide him. I had to hear stories about him. So, shoot, I heard stories of people. Uh, shoot, they was telling me about shootouts and stuff, and about shootouts and the boy acting like Ernie Murphy and John Wayne out pulling partners and shooting. So,
Do you
so
remember how many schools he had been kicked out of by then?
how many schools he been kicked out of? Let me see.
Uh huh.
He
For
went to
behavior.
uh, he went to Fillmore and then he went to Brainerd. He went to Brainerd, but when he was at Brainerd, uh, his biggest problems in school and soon in school was that he was a little bit too smart, so they was skipping him, trying to put him in a higher grade. I remember I remember going to school for him at Brainerd. They called us, and they said he was in the fifth grade. They said, well, he didn't had all of the highest sixth grade classes that they had that they could give him, and he got A's at them, and they don't see no reason to keep him to keep him, send him on to junior high. So we agreed, let him go to junior high. But but
I
but
went from the
then
fifth to the seventh grade. Yeah.
yeah, uh,
Oh, shit.
but then what can I say? What he was 13 or 14. They sent him to juvenile youth authority or something. So by the time he was 15 or 16, I didn't really know what he was doing. He offered me a ride one time. He offered me a ride one time, and I got in the car, and
Jeezy
he
Miyaki,
pulls
hit
up
that like, comment,
with a
subscribe.
Glock or something. He said, "American Express." I said, "Let me out."
Oh wow.
He said the Glock was American Express. I don't leave home without it. Hey, dude, all right, later.
Oh
Hey
Later
man,
yeah,
on.
the
I
streets
get it.
was the streets. Y'all
Huh?
gotta understand, man. The streets was the streets, and my streets, nigga, I was a wanted motherfucker, man. Young, like
I
shit,
didn't know.
man. I wasn't finna let them. Hey man, listen, man. I ain't
Then,
saying it's gonna be a fight.
yeah, yeah. Then they told me what they told me. I guess when you caught that other case, you caught that
When I
other
was
case.
16, when I was 16,
Shoot,
yeah.
all I knew, they claimed you was too sophisticated to go to youth authority. They didn't want to send you to youth authority. When they mentioned youth authority, they said you was too sophisticated for youth authority because when you was 14 or whatever age you was, you manipulated it and got out early. So
Yeah. Yo, Pops, when did you realize? Cause when I went to the penitentiary, I don't know if you was in prison or where the fuck you
I
was
was
at.
in.
So when did you realize that at 16, like when I know you said, okay, well where he at? Who actually told you that nigga's in Soledad State Penitentiary? Cause I
Well,
think you was in the pen when I went. You was gone.
yeah.
Hey, what number did Pops have? Whack. What number did he have?
What kind of
I
number?
don't know. Your CDC number. You remember your CDC number? Oh
Man,
man, that nigga.
I was a dope fiend, man. I went
Oh, you
to a
had an N number. He
CRC.
had an N number.
Oh, he went to
Yeah,
CRC up there in Norco,
he
huh?
was an N number. Yeah, he was an N
Yeah,
number.
no,
Where,
shoot,
where you was at?
yeah,
Was
that
you in
wasn't
jail?
shoot,
Listen,
and that wasn't the country club that it used to be when I went up there. Shoot, they was housing all of the lifers and lifers and stuff.
It was YA Life. All the people from YA coming from YA Life.
yo,
Huh?
where was you at when you realized that I was actually in the penitentiary at 16 years old? Was you still in there, or had you gotten out? Like,
I
what?
probably came home. Shoot, I probably came home, and I was in when you left. So,
Yeah, you was
I,
gone.
I came that first. That I think when they first up at Silmar Court, and I know your brother. You know, he was acting real crazy, talking about he was coming into the court in the court with you. I said, look, man, because I came out of jail, the next day he was going to court, and he that was Zach. He act like, see, man, I'm going in with dude. I said, look, man, that's my son. That's my son, and he's only your brother because you my son. So when the
Oh yeah,
bailiff
that was
came
my
out,
fit. That was my fitness hearing.
huh?
Yeah, that was when they found me unfit to be. That was when they found me unfit to go to juvenile facility.
Yeah. I didn't
Hey,
really
Miyagi,
shoot.
hit that like,
I'm still
comment,
finding out stuff
subscribe.
about you, so
Man, they lying. I ain't did that shit. Them niggas lying.
Yeah, I
maybe.
actually I had another question too. I had another
Okay.
question, Mr. Jones. Just like we're speaking of Wack, like always being ahead of his time, like wiser than his time, like you being his father, how did you deal with that? Did you feel like at times you had to like slow him down, like, hey, you a kid, kind of stay in your place? Did you kind of embrace it, or how did you deal with it?
Well, I talked to him. That's all. All I can do is talk to you. Uh, he 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 would he would yield he would yield to my conversation like all of them. So, you know, they wore their pants down. I said, man, pull your pants up. They pull their pants up. Of course, when they get 15, 20 feet away from me, then they let them drop back down. But at
Mm-hmm.
least, but at least they gave me that. And like I said, I had place gotten out of. I had gotten out of the the. I was still father. I was still father, but 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 only by title. You see, there's men that are fathers and daddies by title, but not by their authority because they rendered their authority over here somewhere else.
Right.
So, so I mean, you know, but the thing about father, me being a father, I realized that no matter what, a father's job is to teach and is to train. I had, I had, he got two older brothers, 6 and 7 years older than so. One time they was trying to corner me, and I ran. The other one picked up a big rock and threw it at me, and he threw it at me. And well, they need to be trained, right? When you say that would warrant some training.
Oh,
So
for
what
sure.
I did was came all the way. I came all the way around. I came all the way around. And when they came out of the house, I raised up on the roof and said, "Bang bang, niggas, you dead." They looked at each other like, but that was a lesson.
That's why I keep cameras now.
We don't have no.
Nah, not for
So
pops. I just
Shoot,
know.
shoot, shoot,
Yeah,
shoot. We
hey,
don't
it was a
shoot,
lesson.
shoot, shoot, shoot. We
That was
don't
a
have no
lesson. I was
problems.
little. I
And
remember that shit. I was in the house. I remember that shit.
So I
Hmm.
had a quick question for you. It seems like you raised a pretty good young man. What's your proudest moment of Mr. Cash Jones?
what's my proudest moment?
What's your most memorable, proudest moment?
Oh, you you can't pick no proudest moments because there's been a lot of moments. Yeah, shoot, listen. There's been moments for me that somebody else wouldn't have a proud moment with it because even
Jeezy
I don't
Miyagi. Hit that
I
like,
ain't never
comment, subscribe.
gang bang nothing that wasn't in the valley when I came up. We didn't have, there wasn't no two P's and it's nothing. It was just Pacoima. There wasn't no east side. There wasn't no west side. It was just Pacoima, and everybody. You can go to Pacoima. You can talk to anybody now, and you can mention my name. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I was fairly popular. Even though I was maybe a square, but I was popular. Didn't nobody mess with me. But 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 him being a gangbanger, I wasn't proud that he was into that. I wasn't proud that he was into that. But I'm going to tell you what I was proud of concerning that. I was proud. I was proud of his position in that because I seen him being the general that I said you have to be no matter what you are. So
I think that's real.
I'm proud of him now. I mean, I mean, I was proud of him when he was 2 and 3 and 5, and I'm just as proud of him now. He ain't really doing. He ain't really doing no more than what he was trained to do. So
Oh, that's
That's right.
super. Yeah, that's super sweet. I like hearing that. That's dope. Salute to you, Pop.
yeah,
Yeah, I got a question for you too, Mr. Cash. So at what point did you realize that Wack was a special kid, man? Because I mean, he didn't grown up to accomplish a lot of good things, but parents kind of tend to see that in their children early on. So at what point did you say he was gonna be a special man?
you ain't gonna like my answer.
Go for it, because I've been around his ass for a little bit, so I expect the unexpected.
Yeah, but now you asking me what point did I realize he was a special kid?
Yes, sir.
When his mama said she was pregnant,
Mm. So how so?
huh?
I said how so?
She was pregnant with my son. Did you see Roots?
I'm a little younger, so I can't even think about it. But like,
Oh,
but what do you?
okay, okay. Well, there's a part on Root where Kunta Kinte raised up his child and said, "Behold, the only thing that is greater than myself."
Nah, that's deep. So you
He
always,
ain't no more than what I expected him to be. Special,
yes, sir.
yeah, yeah. He's no more than what I expected him to be, and that's special. I raised him to be special. Did not you hear me say that I taught them to be what? Generals. Generals are special. They ain't just soldiers.
So you always been proud of his leadership.
He's
Huh?
very special.
I say, yeah, you always been
Yeah,
proud of his leadership.
special. All of my kids, all of my kids, especially my boys, were special. They were special because when they started out, I was straight and sober. I I taught them. I trained them. by words, and I looked at them and I watched what they did. So he always been special. They all was special. They all have been achievers in whatever it is they doing.
Yeah, I'd like to add one thing to that, right? So I've listened to the whole interview and everything, and hey, Pops, appreciate you coming to the
Jeezy
show.
Miyaki,
But what I
hit
can
that
say
like,
is,
comment,
we wouldn't
subscribe.
be who we are if you guys didn't raise us the way you did. It was a rough life, it was a serious life, and it was no holds barred. Y'all taught us how to take no prisoners, and it was what it was. It wasn't the
Yeah,
greatest life, but at the same time, we wouldn't be the people that we are today without that tutelage and the responsibility that y'all put in our hands. So even though life wasn't the greatest, we are who we are because of y'all. And I feel the same way as Cash do. And hey, we appreciate it, and at the same time, you guys might go through your trials and tribulations of the defaults or the misconception of not being a good parent or but you put it down, you laid the law, and we turned out the way we fucking did, and here we are.
yeah. Well, let me say this.
No, that's real shit.
Yeah, uh,
Yo,
uh, uh,
Pop, did the roofer come by there?
yeah. He came by. I got to uh, tomorrow. I have to get a hold to these people, to these people, and then get a hold of somebody and pay them to take the uh, what you call it
Well,
off them
it
panels.
sound like if you ain't got nobody to do it, let me know. I'll send somebody to do it. But they said they was gonna come by there.
Yeah.
I just
No,
told
they
them put a
came
whole
by.
new roof. Yeah, they just gonna put a whole new roof on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So, yeah. But look, let me say this. What's special about you guys? What's special about you guys is that is that you guys was able to overcome us. You guys was able to overcome regardless of what we did. I'm sure if you had a father and if your father was around, he he tried to instill something in you. He gave you something, and maybe there was some about him at least. Uh, at least you didn't physically. I've I've had them try physically to come at me, but but they I ain't no pushover. I can throw these shit, man. I got two dogs, man. I got two dogs. Once I
I
sick
to,
them on you, I can't call them back.
I told them, Pops, you had squabble. I was telling about the time
Yeah, you
when
did.
you was on drugs real bad, and the boy Booby was about 280, thought he could have his way,
Oh no,
and
that
they
was
tried.
Andre.
They,
That was
which one was
Andre.
that? In
That
the
was
beard.
Andre Howard. See, like Andre Howard, and see, that's what I told. See, that's what I told that Negro. I said, I said, man, your whole card, you pulled your whole card when you came up in back of me and hit me and didn't knock me out, nigga. Nigga, hell, I've been living on cocaine and water for a week, nigga.
Ah,
Not
Pops.
Not a
Pops
week.
is,
a
hell
week.
yeah.
Hey,
I've
Pop
been,
squared off with it.
Knocked his
Hey,
ass
when the
hold
head
out,
up
huh?
happened, oh no,
yeah.
when the head up happened,
Shoot, shoot, I put that Pacoima rush on them, man. They don't know how to come up out of that Pacoima rush.
That's what's up.
Put that, put
Pacoima
that
built us
Pacoima.
different. Pacoima
Uh,
built us different. They don't know. We
yeah,
built different from Pacoima.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't know how to come out. Not too many people know how to come up out of that Pacoima rush. But anyway, I put that on him. That Negro fell and wanted to pull knives and stuff. That's what I told him. I said, man, you I done already pulled your whole cards, but. But yeah, but see, I really didn't have to fight after the sixth grade because everybody follows you from everybody follows you from elementary school on up. And
Jizzle,
I
you
had
got to
had my
hit that
challenges,
like,
and
comment,
I
subscribe.
won.
You saying you laid it down early?
Yeah,
He said he
yeah.
laid
So
down
Nah,
yeah,
early
pops
sixth
had
grade.
hands. Pops had hands. They wasn't pops. My older brother. I think pops might have taught him how to fight.
I
My
did.
older brother Bob, he got hands too. Like I don't fuck with him. Ain't no winning them fights. Yeah, he got hands too. My older brother got
Yeah,
hands,
Bob.
hands.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah. Well, shoot, man, I came up watching Muhammad Ali shoot. Everybody in our era pretty much boxed
Right.
like Ali, man. Shoot, everybody wanted to be Ali. Shoot, so we don't
Is
really
that where
fight.
the
We
footwork
box.
come from? Cause
Yep.
I used to
Yeah,
notice that
Ali.
footwork down. Yeah,
Yeah.
hey, pops had a bag up jab. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like he be
Hit him with the
he be
side
rushing.
step.
Is that where you
Nah,
got
yeah,
his
Oh
from when you
yeah.
knocked out the white boy Wack?
He had a good little side step whack.
Oh, you
yeah.
know about that sidestepping?
I know about that side stepping, man.
That
I be
sidestepping
out there
shoot, boy.
boxing
You go to shoot, boy. You go to get him, and nigga hitting you all on the side of your
that
head.
side step. When you said Muhammad Ali, I knew that
Yeah,
side step. Hey, but
yeah.
look, I
Uh,
appreciate you answering that question too. But I had one more for you too. I
Go
got a
ahead.
bunch, but it's a lot of young fellas on the stage. And one thing I like to do is pick the brains of like the older men whenever they in stage. Where I can tell you, I'm constantly picking his brain. So like, what like in terms of like parenting, right? What advice would you give to like a young man that's about to start parenting? Like, what would you look back at and change, or some of the things that you did when you was parent?
Keep your mind to keep your mind uh, straight. Do not inflict nothing on yourself. Do not give yourself over to nothing and nobody, and stay there and raise your children. Raise your children, even if you and the mama don't get along, because what you're looking at, you're not looking at a child. You're not looking at a child. You're looking at yourself. That's you. You're looking at you. You looking at you. Do you know? Shoot. Do you know? I never called them kids. No, I never called them kids. I never looked at them as kids. You know what I? You know what I always looked at them as?
Men in training.
There it is. See,
Oh,
he
that's
know.
deep. Yo, that's deep.
It's a man in
He
training.
never called us boys or none of that shit. He always referred us as men in training. Wasn't
Man
no
in
little
training.
boy, wasn't none of that. Men in training.
Now, I think
I never forgot that.
the fact that you could just say that and finish his statement, Wack, is an attestment that he instilled that shit in you, bro.
No,
Yeah,
no, definitely.
yeah.
Hey, I got a question
Man.
for Pops. At what age did you? Hey, Pop, what's up, man? How you doing today?
All right.
Uh, yeah, I was wondering at what age did you finally give up the drugs? Did you were kind of just done with that?
I was like 40, 41.
Pop 71 now. Yo, 5 p.m. room should be open. Go crack that room. Bring the link ASAP. Yeah,
Got
Pop
you, Wack.
71 now.
I got you.
You know what I like about that men in training statement that you made, and even saying that it's you. As you say, with Wack in his position, the goal was to get him to be different from you. And if anybody that I know in my time listening to Wack, he pushes people to be a little different. And I think that's what we do as fathers to sons. I mean, to our daughters too. So I ain't trying to take away from the baby girls because I got a couple
Yeah,
baby girls.
yeah,
But the you want them so you know how your life was, you know how hard your life was. So what you want to do is put things in place so that their life, whether it's hard or not, they'll be more prepared than you was. That's
yeah,
why that men in training is perfect. What you said you do with
yeah.
them.
Yeah. Well, see, being a man in training, I never forgot that. So, no matter what I was doing, how I was doing it, right or wrong, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I had to tell them the truth to keep them from taking that step to where I was.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to see it.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's important. To where even if they
Yeah,
did take the step, they can't say Pop ain't telling.
yeah.
Pop told y'all.
Yeah,
You know,
well, you've
Pop laid
seen it
it down for
first.
y'all.
First
Hmm.
of all, you've seen it, but I have to be truthful not only to myself, but first of all, I have to be truthful to them. I have to be truthful to the point, to the point that they don't get trapped. I I got caught up. I got caught up and didn't know. Shoot, I didn't. Yeah, sure. I knew I shouldn't have used that. I shouldn't have been smoking weed as far as that go, because my mama told me about all of that. My mama's so straight. I ain't never seen her take a wine, beer, nothing. Luella didn't do nothing. Cash will tell you, Luella didn't do nothing.
Nah, nah, I ain't never seen nothing. I
I
don't
ain't,
even think. Wait, I don't think
I ain't even heard.
Jones
I
even
ain't never
had
heard her
nothing.
curse, say
I don't
bad
think
words.
that
Jeezy Miyaki. Hit
did
that like,
did
comment,
I don't think your
subscribe.
father ever. I never seen nothing in the house. And when what
No,
he had in the room or nothing, but I never seen nothing around the house.
uh-uh. No, no, now shoot, now just like you ran with me, I ran with Daddy. Dude, I ran with Daddy. Gambling and whatever. When I worked for General Motors, I ran with him. I remember one time, uh, I went by the gambling shack up there, and Daddy was sitting there. I said, I said, how you doing, Pop? Oh man, boy, these niggas. He said, boy, you got any money? I said, I said, I said, what you need? He said, give me all you got. I said, oh, Lord, you want all I got? I reached in my pocket. I had about 5,000 in my pocket. I reached in my pocket and gave it and gave it to him and turned around and walked away. But that's the way we was. I used to play a game. I used to play a game with them. I would come in and I would say, let me let me have $20. That one son, the middle one, he would never give me that money. Cash would give it to me. Bob would give it to me. Bob would give it to me, and then I might wait 5 minutes. I might wait 30 minutes. I might wait 30 minutes, an hour. So then I come back and I'll double it. I'll give them $40 for the 20. I give them $40 for the 20. And the reason why I did that, I used to always tell them. I said, remember, you can't lose with us. You can't lose with me. But but I felt that way about my daddy though.
That's dope. That's dope. Hey, yo,
Yeah,
pops. I know you
yeah.
got somewhere to be at 6. We
No,
appreciate
I've
you
got to be
pulling
there
up.
at 7, but
Or 7. Yeah, you don't need to be rushing and shit.
yeah, I
So
ain't because it's raining out there now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Handle your business. We appreciate you pulling up.
All right,
Everybody in the goo. We got Good Burger. We got a recap on the interview with my pops. Thanks, Captain Tazariak, for
I
handling
appreciate
the
it, Wack.
interview. R&B for Culture Pops to you know how to download and come on the goddamn map. Lebo, Phoenix, everybody to go. We're gonna roll over here to Good Burger. Click the link up top. We're gonna roll to Good Burger. I need somebody to lay back.
I'll stay
Rue,
back.
all
Thank
right, yeah, Rue,
you.
lay back.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Uh,
Mr.
let
Jones.
the
All
all
numbers
right,
right.
drop
Well,
just
appreciate
God
a
it,
minute
bless,
Mr.
before we
Jones.
God
start.
bless you
Appreciate it for
all,
the
and
interview.
I hope I
I'll
said.
see you
I hope I
tomorrow.
said
Exclusive. If you anybody else, that's cool. But know this, it's a Jeezy Miyaki exclusive. Guy.